You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/builtforus to get started.
School is back, and Dick's Sporting Goods has what you need to win your year. We've got everything from cleats to Sambas, Dunks, and more. Plus, the hottest looks from Nike, Jordan, and Adidas. Find your first day fits in-store or online at Dicks.com.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We may have Emilio hopping in here shortly. We don't know yet. He's running a little bit behind. Jacob, this is usually where you take about 30, 45 seconds to knock Emilio for being late. Go ahead, man. You have the floor.
I mean, it's just the work ethic in today's youth. It's just not what it used to be. You know, this guy claims that he works all day in the hot sun, whatever, you know.
It's hilarious. Questioning Emilio's work ethic, too. That dude works way harder than you and I both, man. There's no doubt about it.
Probably.
I know we got a bunch of people filing in the chat. We got AFM in the house, United Bates, Blake B, Mr. Larry Cano. Good to see all y'all in here. We got a good little show lined up for you. Obviously, the Packers were back on the practice field earlier today, so we will kind of dive into some of those updates. Got the latest on Tucker Kraft. Got the latest on preseason and how the starters may or may not play in that game. That was exciting news that broke earlier today, so we'll hit all that. So I know the chat's already off the rails, isn't it, Jake?
Yeah.
It's a microcosm of more serious things, Jacob, is what Respect Orange says.
Do you remember what that's from?
I do not.
That's the replenish. The replenish.
Oh, is it the replenish?
He calls the uncle. It's a microcosm of other things, I think.
He's like, if there's anything I ever taught you, it's to replenish. I love the phone call, man. When he who did he call? Did he call his brother, his uncle?
He called it's his brother, the kid's actual father. Yeah.
Got it. What did the kids say to him? I can't take this. He just walks out.
He goes, seriously, he's like, I hate this.
Oh, man. We need to get that shared on Twitter for sure, man. Send it back over to me and we'll tweet that out. It's hilarious. But right. So, like we said, the Packers were on the practice field today. Here it is, August 6th. And I think this was practice. Was it 11, Jacob? Am I thinking right? I think I've seen the number 11 floating around. I could be wrong.
That sounds right. 11 or 12.
It doesn't matter at this point. We got football this Saturday, right? That's all that matters. So let's just kind of dive into some of the updates. I wanted to do this, though, share a couple videos. First things first, let's go ahead and talk about the big news today. Tucker Kraft, there was rumors he was going to be back on the practice field, and we obviously seen it earlier today. We'll talk about that in a second. Here we go. Tucker Kraft back on the field. Our good buddy Paul Bretto, who should be joining us from time to time this coming season. Chatted with him the other day. Excited about having him back on. But you see Tucker Kraft here, Jacob, this video tweeted out from camp. He looks – is it just me or does he look like he bulked up even more, bro?
Yeah, he looks also like very explosive and twitchy for, one, adding the weights, and two, basically not practicing, or at least – not practicing at the facility. It sounded like that he's been nagging LaFleur, asking him, can I come back? Can I come back? So it wouldn't be surprised me if the Tuckmaster Flex was doing some independent training, even though he probably wasn't supposed to. He doesn't care. He's smoking lung darts and, doing whatever he wants. So
doing whatever he got to do. I don't know. The thing that stood out to me, man, was he looked like he's put on a little weight in a good way. Lower half looks thicker. I don't know, man. And to me, it screams he's going to be that and that guy that could potentially sift over. Imagine that dude coming all the way across the formation. You're lined up over a tackle, you being a defensive end. You think, okay, I'm going to take this tackle on. Ball snap, tackle goes away from you. You think you got a free run, and all of a sudden, right in the ear hole, Tucker Kraft. But he does, man. He looks a lot bigger, so I'm excited to see him on the field. And like you said, he looks quick, man. Looks like he's ready to roll. So great news there for the Packers with Tucker Kraft.
Do you think there's any way that, depending on the progression of Tucker Kraft's coming back from that injury, because if they want to carry, I don't see a way where they're going to make these quarterbacks hit the practice squad and not lose them. So if you try to get that 3 quarterback room, you have to shave off somewhere. Can you see him going into the start of the season with just 3 tight ends? And if so, would it be Sims or Davis if they're all healthy?
That's a great question, man, because last year we broke camp with 3, right? Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, Josiah DeGuara. I could see them doing that if they feel confident and comfortable that Ben Sims is not going to get signed, right? Maybe they go that route and keep Tyler Davis. I don't know if Tyler Davis is actually available or what's the word I'm looking for here with the practice squad, eligible.
Eligible.
Yeah. So if that's not the case, I could see them trying to put Ben Sims on the practice squad and just carrying 3. That's something we really didn't talk about last night. We all just kind of said, hey, 4 tight ends, kind of a shoe-in, right? So I see your point there. I think there's a chance of that. I do. Now, is there a chance that Tucker Kraft isn't ready for week 1? I think we would be silly to think there isn't a chance for that. But Matt Schneidman on the Matt Schneidman show just a few minutes ago had mentioned that Tucker Kraft told him he's going to be out there week 1. So that's a great sign there. So if we do go the 3 tight end route, I believe we would all agree it's going to be probably Ben Sims who would be the tight end that they try to sneak onto the practice squad. And I might as well hit on this since you mentioned it. We had an update earlier about Tyler Davis. Wes Hawkowitz during practice said Tyler Davis has excelled this camp as a move tight end. Just did a great job holding Gary at bay on a rollout as Love hit Watson for 25 on a crosser. So Tyler Davis, all signs point to Tyler Davis being even better than the last time we seen him. And Jacob, I know it's no secret you and I, we weren't like over the moon about Tyler Davis, but this coaching staff sure wasn't it, man?
Yeah. I'm not afraid to eat a big old piece of humble pie. If Tyler Davis comes out, what's more intriguing to me is that it sounds like, and it might be coach speak, you never know with this sort of stuff, but from all indications, LaFleur and other coaches made it sound like he's now not just that special teams ace and the guy that does really unique stuff on more in the blocking game and kind of the unsung hero type stuff, but it sounded like he was actually progressing more as a route runner, as a pass catcher, as a run blocker, that kind of stuff. So basically becoming a more well-rounded tight end. And I'm never going to root against the Packer player's progression. So,
right.
With all the stuff I've obviously, most of it's a joke with Tyler Davis. There was a few times where I was genuinely upset and mad that he was on
early
the team.
on, right?
Yeah, but the guy's done nothing but grind, work through injuries, been a loyal Packer. So
yeah,
I humbly retract any criticism to TD.
And that's the thing too. Like the fact that he's willing to go out there and contribute at a high level on special teams says a lot about his character, right? Says a lot about the team player that he is. Some folks will get 4 or 5 years into their career and they'd be like, hey, look, no, I deserve my shot. I want to go somewhere else and get a shot at tight end, as opposed to just, hey, you're the 3rd string tight end and you're going to be our special teams guy, right? So I think that says a lot about someone for sure. Jarrell Lee in the chat says, Tucker, more buff, not good for DBs. I can't wait to watch him lower his head on a DB, man. Tony Holman in the chat, good to see you, buddy. He says, Tucker has become my favorite Packer. He's right up there for me. That's a jersey I've got to get this year. I think he's awesome. I think he carries himself the right way. He embraces that Midwest football guy mentality, I guess you could say. The lung darts, the Busch lattes, chugging beer with David Bakhtiari, all that stuff. He just seems like a down-to-earth, I want to say humble, but we made a joke about it when he was drafted, Jacob. He was he is not lacking confidence, that's for sure. But I do love the fact that he always puts it back on his teammates too. You know what I'm saying? He just seems like he gets it, man. Got a high social IQ for sure. Deadfish in the chat says Kraft has been getting in better shape to hurdle defender more this year. I hope not, Deadfish, but I know what you're saying, man. That was definitely his go-to move last year. United Bates in the chat said, I wonder how, if any, the new kickoff changes what players are kept for special teams. To me, it seems like there'd be a higher priority on linebackers and safeties and maybe even running backs as kick returners. Is that kind of what you're thinking too, Jacob? Like, how do you see that, man, as far as how the new kickoff rules might change what players are kept for special teams, like United Bates has asked?
Yeah, I think it'll be more of that bottom fourth of the roster that'll be affected by it, I guess. But yeah, I guess we don't really know until we actually see it in motion, because even in the preseason games, you can tell they're not going full bore. But I think as far as like with the return man, I don't know, because I think that Keyshawn could, with his kind of twitchiness and just picking angles and being able to really move kind of fluidly through those. I think guys like Nixon are great at that, but I could see it becoming more of a guy like a Josh Jacobs, or more like a stout running back that has a lower center of gravity that can just have to make, because what's weird is that it seems like it's way easier to just make one or two cuts and maybe one or two broken tackles and then you're through. You know what I mean? Like, you got to maybe get the kicker to chase you down, but unless it's Pat McAfee, he probably isn't going to lower the boom. So but at the same time, it does seem like it could be a little more difficult too, because you just have so many guys coming at you at the same time. I don't know what to think. I'm excited to see what it's going to shape up to be, but I don't know.
Yeah, with them being 10 yards apart, to me, it's going to be more like a running play than a full steam ahead, kick return play. Could be completely wrong, and I think there's going to be some trial and error. I wouldn't be surprised if a good chunk of the teams by the middle of the year says, the hell with this, we're just going to kick it out of the end zone, let them have it at the 35 or whatever, it's 30, 35, whatever the new rule is.
30, I thought.
You mentioned Josh Jacobs here. Obviously, he's back at practice and good to go. Matt Schneidman tweeted this out, man. Check him out on this sled right here. Watch him hit it and then catch it on the way down too. My man. Josh Jacobs looks like he's in great shape. I'm excited to see him this year. I think he's going to fit right in with this team. I think he's going to fit right in, especially with the passing game. I know Marshawn Lloyd, it sounded like he had a little bit of a rough day at practice today, although I didn't find the clips to put into our camp updates here. It sounded like he had maybe a drop and maybe a fumble, and I know that was one of the knocks on him. But with Josh Jacobs, he seems rejuvenated and excited to be a Packer. I don't know, man. That pass pro is huge too, as obviously Matt Schneidman tweeted out here. So what do you think about Josh Jacobs, man? What are we thinking here? Do you think he'll be as productive as Aaron Jones, or do you think that's unrealistic, seeing that I know Aaron Jones missed a lot of time, but I mean, that dude what do you have, 5 straight games where he had 100 yards rushing, I believe?
Yeah, towards the end of the year for sure. That's another situation where I'm a little bit hesitant to really go all in. I absolutely loved Aaron Jones, will always love Aaron Jones. I do recognize some of the limitations to his game, and it was the fact that he, you can't run the guy 30 times a game all season. You just can't. And I think that LaFleur actually, now that I look back at it, hindsight being 2020, I used to always complain and be like, he got 10 carries, he got 12 carries, he got 13 carries, but we forget that he had probably 10 catches or targets that game too, and he would really be great at extending third downs. He was really good at, I don't think I've ever watched a running back where I'd watch him run into a left side of the line, right side of the line, and you just think there's no gap for him whatsoever. There's no way that he's going to get out of here. And all of a sudden, just whoop, he just somehow pops through the other side and he falls forward for like 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. And he just, dust off, first down. And I will miss that part of the game. I don't know. I haven't watched Jacobs, to be honest, that closely ever, because, he's on the Raiders. What do I care about the Raiders? When he was even in Bama, you guys know I'm not the biggest. I knew that you had to put some respect on his name because he was one of the best, if not best, running backs of that draft class. So I have high hopes for him. I think the one thing that people could be sleeping on is they did not use Josh Jacobs basically whatsoever in the passing game in Oakland or Vegas. So I think that could unlock an absolute gem to his game, which could maybe even surpass what people think about. Right now, they think of him, I think, more as just a north and south guy that can cut well, big body back. But I don't think they realize he's really good at catching the ball out of the backfield. So,
yeah, definitely. I think Josh McDaniel definitely did not use Josh Jacobs to the best of his, ability, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I know Gruden's an old. I think wasn't Gruden the head coach when they drafted him? Am I thinking right? So it was
Pretty
I believe
sure.
it was Gruden and Mayock, that drafted him. And what it tells me, though, the fact that Goody was so aggressive in going and getting Josh Jacobs this year and the money that they paid him, albeit the guaranteed money's pretty much over after year 2, roughly, so you can get out of it pretty easy. But it tells me that they hands down had him as their best running back in that year's draft. And many times that's what happens in free agency is these GMs, they go back and they look at their draft grades and go, okay, yeah, this dude right here, he's worth the swing on, right? That type of thing. So makes sense for sure. Ben Holden said, I'm back. I put myself in timeout for previous comments on the podcast. Hey, Ben, like it, man. That's how a real man governs himself, right, Jacob? We don't do that here, do we? At all.
Yeah. No, usually YouTube's the one that cracks the whip on us.
Yeah, you got that right. Polly J says, y'all help Clayton out. Smash that like button. Thank you, Polly. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, just take a quick second, hit that like button. Help other Packer fans find this channel and find this content. We appreciate y'all spending the evening with us here. Let's see here. Blake B in the chat said, looks like Adrian Amos signed with the Jags, reunited with Savage. Hey, Godspeed. You guys tear it up down there. I think we all got tired of seeing that duo there for a bit, but that's just me. Listen, Adrian Amos was a good signing. He was. When they first signed him, he played solid. I think, changing schemes up didn't help. Obviously you got to learn a new scheme. You got to learn a new rule set, especially when you're playing a very matchy defense like Joe Barry likes to run. I think he served his purpose here, but I'm not an Adrian Amos hater. Not that you are, Blake, but that's Jacksonville safety room must be pretty rough down there to go out and sign both Savage and Amos. That's for sure, man. So I think we would all agree that the safety room here in Green Bay got better, and that's all we care about, right? So, all right, next thing, too, that I wanted to hit on here real quick. I love these videos everybody's tweeting out, man. Wes Hodkiewicz had this one out, and you got Jair with Derek Ansley.
Yeah, I love this.
Secondary coach. Yeah, and they're out there. And what's he working on, Jake? Press, right? Up on the line, right? And you can see Jair doesn't look very comfortable, does he?
No, they're working on that initial pop step, right? Or how to react to the receivers move. Like, wasn't that Jair's biggest knock? Is that he didn't like. He likes having a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah. That was his words, not mine. He said he hates playing press. He likes to play off, and they were trying to get him to do that more. That's why they brung in Greg Williams, I think was his name. They brung him from Arizona to work with him specifically on that. Now, Joe Barry took all the heat that it was his idea for Ja to play off. It was amazing. You'd have a play where you're in the nickel set. Every corner's playing bump except for Ja. Ja's playing off, and it's like, hey, one thing is different here, right? So I think they're going to be a little more aggressive with that. Now, what's funny is when this move was made to Jeff Hafley, the majority of the press and the media were talking about there's going to be a ton of man coverage. I don't know if you're following along with the coverage from camp. Now everybody's going, I think we're going to see more zone than we thought we were going to see. We've been talking about it since day one, and it's not because any of us are geniuses. You can listen to us for 10 minutes and know we ain't got two brain cells to rub together. The numbers are the numbers. In the NFL, there's not a team that just runs predominantly man coverage. It doesn't happen. Every team played more zone coverage than man coverage across the slate last year in the NFL. So everybody's kind of coming back down to earth and separating themselves from the emotions of we hate Joe Barry to now they're realizing, oh, crap, okay, we're not going to be playing all-man coverage, right? So one of the things that Jeff Hafley, I think you're going to see with his defense, they're going to break on the ball a lot better, though, Jake. I really do. Because I think they're going to get better coaching in that regard. You guys know I didn't think it was the scheme that was the problem. You'd look up and you would see guys just playing, whether they were playing off or not, the ball in the air and them still not adjusting and attacking the ball. That definitely falls on the coaches too, like we said. But really excited to see what Derek Ansley and Jeff Hafley can do. I've talked about Derek Ansley probably more than any other podcaster, and the reason being this dude's got defensive coordinator experience, and now he's coaching the DBs. He knows exactly the position that Jeff Hafley's in right now as a coordinator. And when you get multiple people who have experience with that, which to me, that's what's wrong with the world today. You've got people that come out of school and they're put in a position they have no experience whatsoever, whether it's running a business or an organization or what have you. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're telling all these people what to do and you've never been in their shoes. The fact that Derek Ansley has been a defensive coordinator and now he's the DB coach and passing game coordinator, if I remember correctly, on defense. and he's there kind of as one of the right-hand men to Jeff Hackman. It's huge, Jacob. It's absolutely huge, man. You've been in the restaurant business for a long time. You know what it's like. They bring somebody in that ain't got a clue how a restaurant's run. When honestly, you could probably look at the bartender or a server and they could do a better job managing because they've actually been in their shoes, right?
Yeah, I think actually Ryan highlighted how, and after actually listening to the Michael Lombardi, well, now I'm on his second book. I literally don't remember what both of them are called, but they're really good. He paints a picture of what it's like to actually run an organization, how it's actually ran from, like I said, from the concession stands all the way to the head coach and GM. And one of the things he talked about was how underrated having a great coaching staff is. And Ryan had a podcast about how the Green Bay Packers this year somehow have maybe like 5 or 6 guys on a staff that could be or have been or could be in the consideration of being a head coach or a defensive coordinator. Like guys that, like you just talked about, Ansley, and there was a few others that they took, I don't want to say they took a step back in their career progression, but I think they all recognize, hey, we can work together with a crazy good.
US Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why US Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from US Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday. And you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with Multiview, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action. Make your Sundays more magical. And also, YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Program, squad, whatever you want to call it, organization, and they recognize that, I mean, this might be the most highly respected coaching staff that we've had in a long time. We got used to with the Mike McCarthy days of old, where you had to burn his house down if you wanted to get fired. Right. And I don't know exactly how LaFleur's been. I think that he's brought in some good talent. We've obviously seen there's some guys that go other places and didn't have the greatest successes. Some people claim that was tied to Aaron Rodgers, whatever the case may be. But I think that it's definitely – I'm excited because I think that, like you talked about, there's coaches that know what they're doing. They've seen what to do, what not to do, and they're now not focused on necessarily even a whole team or a whole squad, whether it's offense or defense. Most of them are focused in on a position group. So they're just like hammering these, you know what I'm saying? They're fundamentals plus all the intricate details. And I really think that these guys, as long as our Packer young players are going to be a sponge, they can soak up so much knowledge this year. And after last year with this squad, it's going to be, it's fun.
Definitely. So we had this tweet come down the pike earlier today. We had Ober Sports at Ober Sports, OBERSPORTS. Go give them a follow. Love with an absolute dime to Watson on the run, just out of reach of who I believe is safety Anthony Johnson Jr. So let's let this loop a couple of times. What's love on the run here? A little boot action. Dot. I believe that was Anthony Johnson Jr. too.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants that one back. But, man, again, at full extent, you couldn't put that ball in a better place. Love on the run here, man. He's still got that. That's probably his best. It looks just like Aaron Rodgers. The way just the way he torques his body. And you see the look at the offensive line. When we talk about marrying up the run to the pass, look how the offensive line, it all looks like a zone left run. You see it?
Yeah.
Everybody moving left.
To the point where if you watch the right tackle, I believe that's the right tackle. Or is it? Yeah, it's not a tight end, right? Is it a tight end? He contained Gary.
Yeah, I think that's the play with that's Tyler Davis we were talking about.
Okay.
Remember
can you make that full screen by chance so we can just maybe see the play a little bit?
There you go. It's about the best I can do. Is that all right?
Yeah. Because look at that.
That's Tyler Davis.
That's Tyler Davis.
Yep.
Just like I said, I've always been a Davis fan. You know what I mean?
I always knew the kid had it.
Shoot, I got his jersey right back here somewhere.
I love it. So again, it's cool to see a clip there of Love with that play action. Man, he looks good. He looks healthy. He looks strong. He looks like he's strong.
Did you see the release? That wasn't just like it's a kind of across his body, but look at the sidearm. Like that was. People just say there's only Patrick Mahomes can only make that throw, and now Caleb Williams is the only person in the NFL that can make. I was like, dude,
the only person in NFL history to do it was Caleb Williams. That's what'll be said in Chicago. I promise you that.
Lord.
But yeah, Respect Orange just says I believe in that guy since day one. LOL.
Hey, real quick, did you see that awesome clip of Caleb Williams where he's bragging about his signing bonus, and then
yeah.
I mean, it's not that he bragged. Apparently, they asked him to do it, but it's like. I'm telling you, there's something about this guy that's not right. He is too into himself. He is too into the aura of his own.
That's a tradition that most camps do. They make the rookies get up there and tell their signing bonus.
No, I know, but there's something about him. He's just different. It's weird.
Yeah, dude. For me, it's been like that for 2 years. I've said this about Caleb, and I've taken all kinds of heat for it on Twitter. Like he does not come across like one of the greats. And what I mean by that is you never seen Peyton Manning doing the stuff he's doing. You don't see CJ Stroud looks like he's going to be an absolute stud. He doesn't act like that. He acts like a leader. It just seems like he's self-consumed. He's very, I want the attention. I want the attention. You know, people were talking about when he played at USC. And listen, I am pro NIL. I've caught hell over that too. I love the fact that the players are the college athletes are getting paid now. I feel like it's always should have been like that. It was so weird to me that they weren't even allowed to sell their own autograph, but the NCAA was able to make millions, maybe even billions off of them, right? And it drives me crazy that they weren't allowed to participate in free market enterprise. But they were talking about how when you rode into LA, Caleb Williams billboards everywhere and stuff. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know what I just thought of is he seems more like he plays like when we watched the draft combine. Remember it was that Dylan Lobby where we just hate him because he looked like he ran the 40 and then he looked in the camera and he was like, and it was like I feel like Caleb Williams plays harder for the camera than he will for his team. It's all about his highlights, his clips. What did I look like on SportsCenter? You know, did I have a cool celebration? Were my nails done right? Like.
And that was a big talking point was the nails. Guys, I could care less about that. Full disclosure, because I got to choose my words wisely here.
I was just going to say, what's happening? I
people
paint my nails every day, all right? Mandy busts them off before I go to work.
Many people turn that into a sexual thing, right? I could care less. I could care less about what someone believes or want to do, or that's their business. Who the hell am I to say someone can or can't do that, right? I believe in a free country all the way around as long as it's not harming another citizen. That's the main thing, right? With that being said, the nails thing screams attention. That's what I mean by that. There's not been any great quarterbacks that were like, I want the attention, I want the attention, I want the attention, right? It's usually like we talk about, you absorb criticism and you redistribute praise, right, to your teammates, and you shine the light on other folks. It's just weird. I don't know, man. listen, he's got all the talent in the world. Although last year, many people like to just go, last year was just a down year, man. That wasn't a great year by Caleb Williams last year. So it's like, yeah, that's another thing, Blake. And again, we're not getting into all this. All right, guys. But I'm just telling you, if I was in the huddle with someone and it came across to me like, hey, listen, let's say you're an offensive lineman. Go out there and you risk the cut blocks where guys are literally trying to end your career with cut blocks, right? And you got to go out there and give me everything you freaking got. And I don't want to hear a peep. I don't want to hear a word out of you. You just shut the hell up, do what I say, and we're going to go down here and score this touchdown. Oh, by the way, where's the camera? How do I look right now? I'm telling you, man, people don't play for that. They don't. Vince Lombardi, 101, right? What do you say? What do you say? Battles are won in the hearts of men. Yeah. Once you've won their heart, they'll follow you anywhere. You looking at the camera and you worrying about, how you look and you getting yours and your signing bonus, that does not inspire people, man. It doesn't. And again, the training camp video, that's a tradition. They do that every year. I got it. It's all good. But it's just, I don't know, man. I'm glad he's not my quarterback, as I'll say it. And if I was Chicago this year, what I would have done personally, I feel like Jaden Daniels, right, and Caleb Williams were close enough, in my opinion, that I would have tried to trade down to number 2. And then if Caleb was still there, okay, great, we'll take Caleb if Jaden Daniels goes number 1. But I think that long-term Jaden Daniels is going to be a better leader, but Caleb Williams probably had a little more talent. But, it is what it is. I hope he flops flat on his face, not because I hate Caleb Williams as a person. I just do not like the Chicago Bears. It's that simple. So
I don't like him as a person, so I'll go on record for that.
I get it. I totally get it. And that's the thing. Like I've met many people in my 41 years on this big ball of mud that's supposedly spinning through outer space. Some people went, "Oh, he's a flat earther." Shut up. That's not what I'm saying. I like to play to both crowds here. But it's just, I don't know, man. I've never met anyone like that I go, that's a good guy. Johnny Manziel. If you guys haven't watched that documentary on Netflix,
say that. Yeah.
That was, I thought the Netflix documentary was going to be this dude learned his lesson. He had to hit rock bottom. He straightened it out. And it's like, not at all. That dude's just a selfish person, But anyway, Matt Schneider tweeted this out. Jordan Love on Josh Jacobs, quote, "Just watching the way he's able to get through the holes, find the holes, and his cutting ability in and out of the holes is crazy." Let's see what QB1 had to say about Josh Jacobs earlier today.
I mean, when I hand the ball to him, just watching the way he's able to get through the holes, find those holes, and his cutting ability in and out of the holes is crazy. It's fun to watch, and I'm excited to see him live because practice is hard to, defense is always saying that they're making these plays, things like that, but just his in and out, the way he's able to find those holes and cut in and out and make guys miss in the hole too. I think once we get some live bullets going and guys are trying to tackle him, I think he's going to be a hard player to tackle.
All right, so obviously Jordan Love fired up to have Josh Jacobs in that backfield with him, man. I'm excited to see what he can do for sure. So with that being said, Jacob, you want to get into some practice notes here, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. So first things first, Wes Hawkowitz tweeted out, LaFleur said in the presser before practice, ideally we'll have everybody padded up. Just how much they play is the real question. You're going, what's he talking about? He's talking about preseason game 1, fellas. That's what he's talking about. Wes Hawkowitz also tweeted out, LaFleur, quote, "Reevaluating the last couple years, last year having all the guys play, I think was beneficial for us, especially week 1. Obviously, we'll be smart with those guys. Last thing we want to do is put guys at risk." Now, he's talking about the starters potentially playing in the preseason game, right, and what the plan is there. He went a little more in depth and said Zach Tom will not play in Cleveland, which that's no big surprise there. I hope they don't play him until week 1, me personally. I don't think there's any reason to rush him back. If there's a player on that team and specifically on that offensive line that's ready to go week 1, it is Zach Tom. But he also said Jordan Love will play in this Saturday night's preseason game. So we've talked about this every year, man. This is a big topic. And, the people that say they need to be playing preseason, you would not hear a peep from them if someone got hurt playing in that preseason. But also the people that think, hey, they shouldn't play in preseason. If they come out in weeks 1, 2, or 3 and they lay an egg and they don't look like they're ready, they're not going to be sitting there going, yeah, they should have played in preseason. You know what I'm saying? But how do you feel about it, man? It seems like a new day. Obviously, we did this last year with the preseason, gave them a little more playing time, and it seemed to get off to a little bit better start. Obviously, week 1 against the Bears, coming out and dominating that game.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a difference from this year from last, just because it was so new. Love had never been with this offense, this team. It's the youngest team in the NFL. The wide receivers were so young. They had no idea, the connection in live game speed. I think that this year it's fair to say that everybody's taken a really big leap. Jordan Love, especially, first and foremost, the wide receivers, even the guys that now are second-year players that are going into year 3, guys that were rookies last year going into year 2. That's a massive, big deal. There's very few rookies that we're asking to step in and be really big, like instant playmakers. I'd say maybe it'd be Jordan Morgan and Bullard. And you could argue maybe a few of the linebackers or a couple other secondary guys. But other than that, we have mostly people that have been through it. They know what to expect. Not much coaching staff change other than obviously on the defensive side of the ball, but they seemed like they were soaking that in like a sponge. So I just feel like that this team right now is clicking at a point where they shouldn't necessarily. I don't want him to take a step back. So we've known what about Jordan Love is he takes maybe a little bit to get going. So yeah, get him all the experience we can get. We've talked about how we thought maybe it would be they play a drive or two in the first preseason game, then maybe play a quarter, and then maybe do another drive if that, but maybe probably not play another down. I think it's smart if he plays them for maybe a drive or two next week, maybe plays them for 3 or 4 drives, and then after that, maybe take it by. See how many injuries we have, see what the roster's looking like, see what we need to find out as far as positional groupings and who's where at the depth chart. But I'm excited he's going to play. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I hear you. Harry Cheese in the chat said they need to play in preseason. Injuries is just part of the game. Poopy happens. I could not agree more. I feel like when you're trying not to get hurt and you're trying to play conservative, that's when things happen. Man, listen, just go out there and play freaking football. You line up the teams that play aggressive, they play fast, they don't play scared, they don't play cautious. Those are typically the ones that do not get hurt, right? That's just me personally. I kind of see it that way, and you can protect them with it being preseason. You can tell Love, hey, look, here's what we're working on. The play breaks down, get rid of it, throw it away. Don't try to be a hero out there. It's just preseason, right? But again, I can understand the people that are, not up with it. Randy Cleaver says, I'm good with a series or 2. That's it. To me, that makes the most sense, Randy. Get out there, get the timing down a little bit, get the snap count, all that good stuff, and get them out. I think it makes a lot of sense. Bill in the chat, good to see you, buddy. He says, I wouldn't play Love without Tom. That's another factor too, Jacob. Like Tom not playing at right tackle, you go out there and you put Andre Dillard in front of him or Kadeem Telfort in front of him. He has one of those watch out blocks, where they just scream, watch out. Next thing you know, Love gets plastered, and I don't even want to think about that. But great point. It is a great point for sure. Respect Oranges says, yeah, after family night, I'm all right with first team doing 1 to 2 series. Is that kind of how you're thinking, Jacob?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, good deal. So there you go on that. Next, swing tackle. We were just kind of talking about it, right? So when it comes to the swing tackle approach here, Wes Hokowitz says the floor on the tackle competition amongst Andre Dillard, Kadeem Telfort, Caleb Jones, Travis Glover, and Luke Tenuta. Quote, right now we're trying to figure out who's going to be that third tackle. It's a heck of a competition right now. To me, this is the big concern with the offensive line. I think it was you last night, Jacob, we're talking about you were worried about the interior. It sounds like Sean Ryan could potentially be the backup for all 3 positions, right guard, center, and left guard. I'm not so concerned with the interior offensive line. I'm worried about that third tackle, that swing tackle, me personally. Out of those names right there, if you had to pick one right now, like you say, a water gun to your head, who would you pick out of those tackles? Andre Dillard, Kadeem Telfort, Caleb Jones, Travis Glover, and Luke Tenuta. Who do you want as your third tackle, your swing tackle, in case Rasheed Walker or Zach Tom gets banged up in a game and you got to plug and play somebody?
if I had to pick based on who's had the most practice time and availability right now, I'd go Kadeem Telfort. If I had to do it based on who I think would end up being a better player if they got the time and the practice, I'd say Caleb Jones or Luke Tenuta.
Gotcha. What's funny is I think mine would be Andre Dillard. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I'm eager to see what they can do with him this year because obviously he was the 19th overall pick. He hasn't panned out everywhere he's went, and that's not a good sign. Don't get me wrong. But he's got experience starting at left tackle. It sounds like I think he might have played a little right tackle as well. But it tells me the Packers had a fairly high grade on him. He's got the physical tools. He's got the traits. Sometimes that's the main issue, right? Is just having that talent and ability to be able to play at this level. I don't need him to go out there and be gangbusters. I just need someone who's got the physical ability to slow down that pass rush. Because the beautiful thing is, if it is at right tackle, right, and I'm talking specifically right tackle right now, if it is right tackle, then Love can see that rush coming, right? If for some reason Rasheed Walker went down, I personally would rather Zach Tom kick over to left tackle and plug in Andre Dillard to right tackle, just based off what I've seen so far. Outside of that, I think they got a lot of faith in Luke Tenuta too, but like you pointed out, it just doesn't seem like the practice time matches that, does it?
Yeah, no. And the one thing too I'll say about Dillard is apparently smarter guys than me have said that he's been horrible at right tackle. So just specifically, and they said that they actually moved him to be the backup left tackle because he's apparently fared better in that position. But
really?
I still think, yeah, it'd be Telfort or Tenuta for me. I would still like to think that Donovan Jennings could make a play, but he just doesn't seem like he can get healthy right now. So I feel like Jennings is going to be one of those guys that probably makes the practice squad if he's even lucky for that. So,
yeah. And speaking of getting healthy, here was the injury report earlier today. Pete Doherty, I think from the Green Bay Press Gazette, tweeted this out. Injury update. Return today. Kraft off of pup, obviously with the pec injury. New out, so new injuries. Stanley, wide receiver with a hamstring, and Starkey with the calf. Who is Starkey? Do we know who Starkey is? What position does he play?
That is a DB, so I'm pretty sure.
He's a custodian. Got it. All right. Still out. Callis with the hamstring. Valentine with the hamstring. Alexander with the Deslin Alexander. I want to specify that. Lower leg injury. Kingsley Enagbare hamstring. Keyshawn Banks groin. Edgerrin Cooper with the hip. And then Jennings with the knee. So that's who is still out there. There is your injury report coming into camp practice today. Now, when we get to the practice details here, Edgerrin Cooper earlier today, Wes Hawkowitz tweeted out, Cooper isn't practicing, but is deep downfield mimicking the linebacker footwork. So he's still getting those mental reps, Jacob, but that hip obviously is bothering him enough to keep him out of practice, man. It kind of feels like this is the conversation we always have. You can't make the club in the tub. Kind of feels like Edgerrin Cooper's falling behind the 8 ball here, right? Falling behind schedule. So thank God for Eric Wilson and Isaiah McDuffie, right?
Yeah, and we kind of thought that some stuff like this would happen. Smitty let us know that, and so did Blake, that Rory Starkey is a wide receiver. That's right. I don't know, man. I just, and Randy goes ahead and says hamstrings again. I don't know what to think, man. I just know that I think we're lucky to have the depth that we have. You know, Cooper, I would love to have him to see the field, but like you talked about, I just can't. Every time I see Eric Wilson do anything, I'm just like, wow, he's so good. Like I could watch him fill up a water bottle and be like, he's the best at that. Why has nobody ever seen him fill up water bottles? Like I feel like anything they ask him to do. And like the other day I looked at him and I was like, dude, this dude's jacked. Like he's absolutely cut out of wood jacked. Like, and I love McDuffie. McDuffie to me has been one of my favorite underdogs that I thought if he maybe just got a chance, he could be more of that steady Eddie guy. And it sounds like that no matter what they ask him to do, he just succeeds. So again, a great problem to have. If we need to have Cooper and Hopper take a redshirt year, and because we have talent with Wilson and McDuffie, then cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. And the big thing, listen, this is just how my mind operates. You guys know that I wasn't as high on Edgerrin Cooper as, Greg Cosell said it was his best linebacker in the draft. He said he might not be day one or year one, but overall he will end up being the best linebacker. I had 3 linebackers above Edgerrin Cooper in the draft. I had Junior Colson, Peyton Wilson, and Cedric Gray. So I'm not going to be sitting there saying, I told you so, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on those linebackers for personal reasons and adjusting my board moving forward, because that, to me, that really popped. Like, man, now Edgerrin Cooper had a phenomenal year, had an historic year his last year in college. We've talked about that. But those other guys, I felt like they were day one ready. And Junior Colson, to me, seemed like he would be more durable, just the way he's built, you know. I'm eager to see how it all pans out in the end, comparing those 3 players for sure at the linebacker position. But up next, Wes Hodkiewicz tweeted out Zach Tom returns to right tackle and stays in front of Gary, allowing Love time to hit Wicks on a deep crosser. Sean Ryan was at right guard. So Zach Tom handling Rashawn Gary today. You know, we talk about iron sharpening iron. That's a great matchup for Gary there to continue to try to get better and be the edge defender that I know everybody on this podcast believes he can be. But I will say this, Gary is kind of flashed in camp, but look who he's lined up across from, right, Jacob? We talked about that. He's going against Andre Dillard, Kadeem Telford, and he's looked really good. Sound like Zach Tom came in and went, no, sir. Just stand right there for a second.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, one of those things that we need to take a grain of salt with. And I was actually going to bring that point up. But what's Clayton likes to do? He stole my thunder. No, but that's a great point, because think about, we haven't had Tucker Kraft in. Luke Musgrave's not necessarily known for his blocking. Tyler Davis is just now getting healthy. Rashawn Gary has kind of been going against, I don't want to, hate on anybody, but as far as Andre Dillard, they were throwing him with the ones at right tackle quite a bit, and he was getting just dog walked into the backfield. And they didn't have pads in at the time, so people were like, oh, once they get pads, it'll be different. No, they got so bad that they moved into the left tackle position. And I think that 2 things can be true at once. I think that Rashawn Gary is probably just hungry as all can be, that he's excited. He has new fire under his belly from the Hafley situation. And he could also be going against level, B tier type, if not C or D tier tackles. So we just gotta maybe tamp down a little bit of our expectations. But I don't think that he is I don't think it's just the fact that he's going against the B squad. I think that Rashawn Gary is just a freaking HMM ready to explode.
Yeah, him coming out of that, damn it, Jacob. Him coming out of that 3-point stance through that track stance, they're saying is going to make all the difference in the world. I'm excited about seeing that for sure. If you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button for us, help other Packer fans find the channel. Thank y'all so much for just taking the time to do that and making us a part of your evening here. Up next, Sean Ryan. Wes Hodkiewicz tweeted out, Andy Herman tweeted out, Sean Ryan, great job blocking LVN to buy time for Love, who fires downfield for a leaping Wicks with Stokes in coverage. Nice play by the offense. And Wes Hodkiewicz quote tweeted that and said, just sealed Slayton too. So Sean Ryan getting some good reps in at practice today on LVN and TJ Slayton. Sean Ryan, man, he's playing for his career too. Obviously he just took a technical pay cut, I guess you could say. And we'll see how this year pans out. But I do like the idea. I don't like the idea of him at right guard starting, but I do like the fact that he could be a backup guard or even potentially a backup center. That makes me feel a little bit better about the value that Sean Ryan carries. You agree, disagree? Anything you want to add on that, man?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I've been pretty critical of Nacho Libre since we drafted him. He did not seem like he was getting it definitely for his rookie year. I'd argue for most of the second year, but it seems like he maybe now is finally, I don't know if he just put on a little more weight, found his base, found a way to maybe mentally kind of diagnose the game a little bit differently, but it does seem like he trusts himself more. It seems like the Packers front office and the coaching staff are comfortable with him. Like you just said, Clayton, that'd be cool if he was maybe our swing interior guy. Like you said, you could pop into left guard, right guard in a pinch. I know that they've said that I've seen posts that Ryan was actually taking some snaps or giving some snaps, I guess, at center. So if that's the case, that is a guy that, he's not on the level of like a Royce Newman or a Dillard, where I don't want him on the team. I think that he still has a benefit. He's at the back end of the roster, though, for sure.
Got it. All right, we got some connection issues right now. Hopefully it's still coming in clear. We'll try to battle through that. Everything looks good on our end. It might just be some storms in the area or something. But Wes Hawkins tweeted out, Musgrave catches and out to open team. Jair breaks up comebacker for Watson. So they got Jair on Christian Watson. I love the fact that they're getting some work together there. You always want to see the ones on the ones for sure. But Jair on Watson there with the breakup. Did you, Emilio, we got a little feedback there, bro. Just a touch. Might be your phone, maybe. Got it?
Okay.
There we go. We're good. Emilio, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. Happy to be home.
I bet you are, man. You've been working.
Did you wash your face? Did you wash your face?
Yeah, real quick. I still need a shower.
My man. Hey, thanks for hopping on, dude. We appreciate it for sure.
Always.
All right. So as far as Jair, he put a Instagram post out last night, and I had kind of screenshotted it and tweeted it out. Oh, you got feedback again there, Emilio. Not sure what's going on, but my man works his tail off to get home, and then appreciate you, bud. All right. So Jair put a Instagram post out last night, and it was basically like, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines of, "It has nothing to do with me; it's all God." And then, Jordan liking the Instagram post. Seems like Jair is in a much better place this year, which is really exciting. Now, you know me, I like to tweet that stuff out because I'm not going to sit here and be shy about my faith. I'm a Christian, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't care what anybody believes. But they're not going to tell me that I can't talk about what I believe. I'll tell you that. It's amazing how 2 or 3 people got upset that I sent that out. I'm like, I didn't know what else to do other than send the Billy Crystal where he hands the tissue box, Like, I don't know what to tell you, bub. Like, I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool that Jair's kind of opening up with stuff like that. It just seems like he's in a really good place. And it's not in a place of me. This year it's a kind of everyone else type thing. I think it's awesome that QB1 recognized that as well.
Right. Well, he's got that band, right? He is second.
Yeah.
Big too. So.
Yeah, love everything that no pun intended, love represents for sure. All right, let's get into team drills real quick. We're going to start at the bottom. That's in order to the best of my knowledge. So Wes Hawkins fired off a series of tweets during team drills. Says first 3 1 snaps go to Bullard. So he was with the ones, Jacob, your boy Javon Bullard. Then Williams came in to play alongside 29, obviously talking about Xavier McKinney. So it sounds like that safety race is narrowing down to Javon Bullard and Evan Williams, which is really exciting. I'd be okay with either. Obviously, you'd rather the second rounder pan out, before Evan Williams. But at the same time, it's just nice to know that they're both performing at a high level. Wes Hawkins said, team ends with Hopper blitzing and pressure breaking up the play, Slayton possible sacks. So there you see Tyron Hopper getting to the backfield with a little blitz action. He also tweeted out, Eric Wilson comes free for a sack and safety of Love ends the first team period. So the linebackers, boys, they're showing up even without Edgerrin Cooper. Wes Hawkins tweeted out, Torrey catches a slant thrown behind him for 5 yards on a 3rd and 2, so they convert there. He went on to say Wicks had a step on Nixon but misjudged the deep ball from Love and falls incomplete. And then the offense gets 2 first downs it needs with 3rd down slant to Reed. So it sounds like the offense moving the ball pretty well, although the linebackers, the big thing that pops out there to me, Jacob, linebackers are getting aggressive, ain't they, man?
Yeah, they are.
What is wrong with you? What is your problem, Jacob?
I just made the mistake of reading the chat. I don't know how Dad's in the chat.
For real? Pop?
Pop.
Dad? Anyway.
No, I actually was going to comment on that when you were talking about it with Hopper blitzing and the pressure breaking up and Slayton with the possible sack. And then the next thing is Eric Wilson comes free for a sack. We've talked about, man, how Hafley just for whatever reason, I'd love to really have him just give us a chalk talk and be like, here's how it's easy to make a group of guys that have had difficulty, whatever, capitalizing on pressures and getting interceptions and turning stuff into 3rd and longs. Here's all you have to do, because it sounds like whatever he did, he came in, he wiped off the Joe Barry chalkboard and he just started writing stuff down. And every player on the defense now is like, oh, okay. And every single thing we're reading is HMM meat missiles going this way. This guy's firing this way. This interception's right over here. This is a tip ball. This guy's punching it out this way. Whatever that he's coached, whatever he's implemented into this new scheme, this new defense, the guys have bought in, and it just seems like that they are making disruptions all the way. And it is with we looked back at the guys that we drafted. There was a certain prototype that we got. They were fast, physical, human meat missiles that were ready to just shoot the gap at any point. It's the tip. And but for real though, Hopper, Cooper, Bullard, Williams, Oladapo, every single one of them are guys that just like Predator. They get the freaking heat-seeking body thermal image going, and they're like, and they just start shooting gaps.
We're talking human meat missiles and Predators. Listen, I'm waiting for Chris Hansen to walk into the room here.
Why don't you have a seat? Why don't you take a seat? Why don't you have a seat?
God almighty. Emilio, save this. Get this thing back on track for us, sir.
I don't even know how to after Jacob just.
You look so tired, dude. You
look like you need a nap.
I woke up at like probably 6:45, 6:30, 6:45. So, but honestly, I was going to say I really liked Hopper ripping around in Family Night anyway. He made a couple tackles there, and I'm excited for his speed. There's a reason we took him in the third, right? So, if Hafley can do it, that's the key. I had time to listen to some books today. I was listening to the Vince Lombardi Leadership. And that's maybe he's stepping in with a different mindset of leadership and how he's gonna run the defense and carry himself and have them carry their heads through there at the same time. So I'm really excited to the entire team, but definitely where the defense is heading.
Yeah. M. Smitty says that not only that, Jacob, they were a majority captains of their teams, physical, violent leaders of men. That captain's thing. I've heard some people go, just do away with the captain stuff so we don't have to deal with the drama. No, you don't run from that situation. Mm-hmm. These are grown-ass men. They should be able to handle the fact that their teammates didn't vote them a team captain. To shy away from that, like, oh, we don't want to hurt people's feelings, good. It's good to get your feelings hurt every now and again, right? We live in a society that's just like coddle. And then when everything hits the fan, it's, oh, no, what do we do? Like, let your peers vote on the captains. Guess what? If you weren't voted the captain, you're probably not a good teammate. You're probably not working hard enough. That's the reality. That's life, bub. Suck it up, Buttercup. I don't know what to tell you. I wish they would stick to that type of mindset. I hope they do that this year personally, because I think them filling this team with former captains of their other teams, I think it's huge, man. I really do.
Right. Each person has their bubble or like their niche, their way to learn, their way to lead. And maybe sometimes you just got to approach them differently. And maybe that's all it is. But I really think that, the linebackers are going to really set the tone. So we need them to step up. I know that Edgerrin hasn't really been out there, but Hopper's his chance now. It's kind of like how Tucker Kraft got to step up when Musgrave was down. You got to show out, man, in your reps.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, a couple other things here. Competition period, Wes Hawkowitz said. With 24 seconds left, one timeout from the 50, Love finds Watson for 15. But neither Carlson nor Joseph can make from 53. So now we bring in 3 kickers to work out, boys. might be a little trouble there. Now the kicking battle update, Andy Herman does a phenomenal job tweeting this out. He quote tweeted himself from earlier. It says, notable, the wind is blowing very hard right now. And it talked about Joseph going 1 for 3 and Carlson going 1 for 3. To end the day, the new updated kicking battle through camp, Joseph doesn't have the distance in the win. He misses another. He's now 41 of 48 for 85.4%. Okay, field goal percentage. Carlson hits the post on a long field goal as well. He's now 38 of 48 for camp for 79.2%. So the lead right now goes to Greg Joseph at 85.4, Carlson at 79.2. So we've talked about overall kicks, that type of thing. This scenario here, Joseph's got a 3-kick lead. To me, that's not like a huge lead by no stretch of the imagination. But same time, man, I don't care about the name, boys. I don't. Give me the better kicker. Whoever wins it, wins it, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I know how Tim feels. Tim's like, shut up. We're going Anders Carlson. I ain't hearing it.
I'll back Tim on that. I'm still Anders, man. I honestly with it, we got to see him through a hard test, today with the win. But I don't think that, like you said, that three kick lead really is that big. The bigger moments are going to be in the game. Who's going to get those reps on PATs, field goals, all that stuff, and who hammers those? I think that's going to be key. But I'm still with Tim. I'll roll with Anders.
Got it. Jacob, what about you, man? Who you have to pick right now? Who is it?
Yeah, it's still going to be Anders for me.
Still Anders. Okay.
The draft capital that we spent on him, plus the fact that I really respect what Greg Joseph has done, but he's been used to having more of these battles. I'm sure in camp he's way more of a vet compared to Anders. So for Anders to actually take the steps he has, because remember, he had no competition last year. The guy had a red carpet rolled out for him just to go and be a rookie, which to me was not the right way to do it. I think they've realized the error of their ways. They're overcorrecting maybe in a certain aspect by giving him way more competition than he needs, but it's a good thing to have. He's younger. He's got more talent, I think, and I think he's got more leg talent. So let him go. He has shown that he can, miss of 3 kicks. I think a lot of that might be the fact that he's still young. He's nervous. He'll get better with time.
Could be. The chat's very vocal here. Dennis Shook said sub 80% is simply unacceptable. I can respect that. Respect Orange just says rooting for Carlson, but 38 of 48 is tough to look at. He goes on to say that's 10 to 30 points, right? And then Jarrell Lee said he's still leaning towards Carlson right now. So it's going to be interesting to see. And that's the other thing, too, preseason. I like Dennis Shook here said Chris Jackie. I completely agree with that, sir. Get him out of retirement. I like Chris Jackie. So anyway, Chris Jackie and Tony Mandrich, 2 of my favorite people. I'll just leave it at that. So with that being said, I mean, it's preseason. That's another thing we can watch. The backup quarterback battle is going to be a lot of fun. And also the kickers, right? Hopefully they'll rotate them, and they'll probably do it based off range, that type of thing, right? They don't want to rotate and one guy get a 60-yard attempt and the other guy get a 30-yard attempt. You know what I mean? And it keeps going back and forth. So, I don't know. I'm eager to see, man. Larry Cano makes a great point here, too. He says Joseph had an opportunity with a number of teams but was available. Got to tell you something. It's a very good point, Larry. If he was so good, he wouldn't have been available, right? So
it's true.
Great point.
Did you hear what Tucker said? I know you guys talked about him earlier, but did you hear what he said in his interview today?
Tucker Carlson?
No.
Tucker Kraft, sorry.
The truck.
The truck. Go ahead.
He was saying that he wants to be the best outside zone tight end in the league. He said that is going to be key for me moving forward. That's where he's going to set his goals at, and I love that. Right. He said, especially with this offense, if Matt LaFleur is going to be scheming it up, we need that. I love that attitude. All he does is drink the Gatorade of working men, and I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah. Love me some Tucker Kraft, man. Love that dude.
Can we just wait? What did you say? Tucker Kraft drinks the Gatorade of working men?
Yeah.
Damn right. Well, you got a question?
No, I just want to see if that deserves to get up on the. We haven't had a quote go into the banner for a minute.
Yeah, let's put it on the ticker here.
I was gonna say that's a pretty good. Emilio just said Tucker Kraft drinks the Gatorade of working men.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, do you have the cream of singing guy?
Why?
Dude,
keep talking. I'm putting it on the ticker. Tucker Kraft.
Wayne's World.
I just can't wait for Jacobs. If this defense really takes off, I can't wait for Jacobs' new tattoo. That is going to be unbelievable.
What did I agree to again?
I can't wait for you to watch this ticker. It's coming across. I'm pretty sure it was like a race car bed or my name tattooed on like your neck or something. You were crazy about it.
That's fine.
And the defense just has to be like top 7.
Oh gosh, really?
Oh God!
The way they're looking,
How about this? Can we at least you said race car? Can I find I'll get a picture of like my favorite Matchbox car. I used to be a weirdo that I'd buy the Matchbox cars and I'd leave them in the box and I'd collect them. And
you never played with them?
Yeah, you buy them for like 69 cents. Remember back in the day? Well, you don't because you're young, but you could go to Walmart. They'd have Matchbox cars for like 69 cents, 89 cents, $1.20, like, and you'd buy some really cool ones and you don't touch them. You put them in a box and you tell your little kid brain you can't open them or you're going to ruin the value.
There you go. Ticker has been updated.
All right, Jacob. Top 7 in scoring defense. I'll get an Emilio tattoo on my left butt cheek. Is what Jacob.
Sorry.
Jacob said you were fake news.
I can't believe I said that.
Look, the very first time you said they were human meat missiles, we put that on the tip. Just a tip. Head coach Tupac LaFleur.
We've had some good ones.
I actually made good music, PTA Jacob.
That was a tough time.
Yeah. They're winning 14 games, boys. Book it. PTA.
I like that one too.
Third and
Wicks.
Nice.
Oh man, there it is. Tucker Craft
chased the gator. Freaking man.
I love it.
That's a good one.
We've reached that point where the show sucks. So anything else you guys need to get off? Good. All right. Quick little look at the calendar here. Obviously, tomorrow's the 7th, so we got another 10:30 a.m. Central Time practice. So we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central to talk everything that happened at practice, give you guys an update on all that stuff, just the same as we did today. We'll be back again the 8th and the 9th as well. Obviously, the Saturday night, immediately following, there's going to be a 3:25 Central kickoff against the Cleveland Browns. Immediately following that game, we're going to be going live with a PTA post-game show. So we'll be bringing you all of the news, information. Hopefully there will be zero injury news to report, and we will get a nice little look at, like I said, this backup quarterback battle. We'll get to see a little bit of Jordan Love and some of the starters, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun for that post-game show. Also, with the post-game show, we're going to do a giveaway, all right? We're giving away a copy of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0. So if you're interested in making sure that you're on the pinky wheel that we're going to spin to land on one of our Patreon members, just scan that QR code in the upper right. If that doesn't work, we've had some people having problems with it. Just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Anyone who is a member of one of the 3 tiers in our Patreon group, we're going to make sure everybody's name is on the wheel. We're going to spin it and give away a copy of that book. We've also got some really cool merch coming up, memorabilia, all that good stuff. Smitty says it's rigged. Eric Sutherland isn't in here. Smitty's going to hold the banner high. So there you go. I've told y'all 1,000 times, this is the safest, most secure giveaway in Packer fan history. All right. So that being said, we're out, guys. Thank y'all so much. Emilio, dude, you're dedicated. I mean, you came straight in from work. Really appreciate you, man, for sure.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Let's say, let's go be the Gatorade of working men we want to be. I like it. Leave that up for me. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go be the Gatorade of working men we want to be. Go Packers.